Looking for a beginner-friendly crochet project that can take your space from ordinary to elegant, or maybe you just want to make something quick and gorgeous to gift, you're going to love this easy elegant crochet pillow. For this project, I used Big Twist 100% cotton yarn from Joann's. Unfortunately, this yarn is now discontinued due to Joann's going out of business. But if you are so lucky to have this yarn in your stash, I use the color Mushroom. So you can either look online for this yarn or substitute it out. It's a 4-weight yarn, 100% cotton. You can substitute in Lily Sugar and Cream, Peaches and Cream, or really just any 100% cotton yarn that's also a size 4-weight. You're also going to need a crochet hook that's a size H8, 5mm, a pillow form, or basically that pillow insert. That's a size 12 inches by 22 inches in dimension, a yarn needle, embroidery scissors, and a stitch marker. We're going to use this throughout the project, either helping you stay on track with stitch count or keeping the sides of your work straight, even joining at the end, and a measuring tape to make sure that you're staying on track as well. I'll link everything that you see here in the description below, including the written pattern that you can get your hands on. As for the amount of yarn that you're gonna need for this particular project, because I know somebody's gonna ask me, I used Big Twist for the pillow that you're gonna see featured in all the pictures and the images. And there were 2 skeins that I played with. This is what was left of the second skein. So I didn't use a whole 2 skeins. I did actually go through the meticulous process of taking a measuring tape and measuring every inch of this ball that I had left so I could subtract it from the total amount, which gave me the number of 326 yards of yarn needed to complete this project. So you can basically give yourself a little wiggle room. Whatever yarn you buy, you're just gonna need to make sure you have approximately 326 yards of yarn to play with to make this project. All right, are you ready to get started? Let's begin by chaining 63. And 63. All right, for row 1, we're going to single crochet into the second chain from our crochet hook and then make 1 single crochet stitch in every stitch or every chain all the way across. At the end of row 1, you should have a total of 62 stitches. And last stitch right here, number 62. Great. Now we have finished row 1. For row 2, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, single crochet into the first stitch, and then we're going to jump into the single crochet cross stitch. Skip the next stitch, single crochet loosely into the following stitch. Again, emphasis on the loose. And then single crochet loosely into that skipped stitch that we just skipped. Again, super emphasis on the loose. Gonna be a big deal. That's your single crochet cross stitch. Let's repeat that. Skip the next stitch, loosely single crochet into the following stitch, and then loosely single crochet back into that skipped stitch. And that's the repeat pattern for row 2. All you're going to do is skip the next open stitch, loosely single crochet into the following open stitch, and then loosely single crocheting into that skipped stitch all the way across row 2. I'll meet you at the end of row 2 to show you how we stop. Great. Once you reach the end of row 2, there's only 1 stitch left. Just make 1 single crochet stitch in that last stitch to close the row. This is going to help us to have very straight, even sides and look really clean and crisp. So this is what row 2 will look like. Let's jump right into row 3. For row 3 through row 13, we're repeating what we did in row 2. So chain 1, turn our work, 1 single crochet stitch in the first stitch, skip the next stitch, loosely single crochet into the following stitch, and then loosely single crochet into the skip stitch, the single crochet cross stitch. Great. Again, repeating this pattern all the way across, you're going to make 1 single crochet stitch in the first stitch and 1 single crochet stitch in the last stitch. Everything in between is going to be a single crochet cross stitch. Repeat this for row 3 through row 13. I'm going to meet you at the end of row 13 to show you what we're going to do next. For this demonstration, I'm going to make fewer rows in between just so I can get from one explanation to the next faster. But at the end of row 13, this is approximately what you're going to be looking at. For row 14, we're going to do a different pattern. Chain 1, turn our work. We're going to make one single crochet stitch in the front loop only of every stitch across. The way I do this is I take the claw of my hook and I grab that front loop from the front inward to that V section, then yarn over and complete your single crochet stitch, leaving behind that back loop of that V stitch. And repeat, just picking up the front loop only from the outside in. Big deal, you don't want to go from the inside of the V out. It's going to change the look of the stitch. All right, you got this. Go ahead and finish up row 14. I'll meet you at the end of row 14 to show you what to do next. This is a great opportunity for you to count your stitches to make sure you're staying on track. Definitely do this periodically. We've just finished row 14. Great, moving on to row 15. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. When you flip your work, you're going to see this line of all those back loops that were left behind from row 14. Okay, we're going to work row 15 into those back loops that were left behind. So we're going to single crochet into each one of those back loops. I like to actually push row 14 backwards, and when you push row 14 backwards, those left behind loops actually kind of pop and make it easier to see and work into. Single crochet into that one loop and repeat all the way across for row 15. Please count, because it is very easy to accidentally skip that first stitch, like not be able to see that loop for some reason, and we don't want to get off count here. So please count your stitches so that way you can make sure you're staying on track. Awesome, 62. That's the number of stitches we want in every row, guys, 62. Great, we just finished row 15. Now you can see that ridge that is really popping out on the front. It's a really cool texture. I love using this stitch to divide different crochet stitch patterns in a project. And so we're going to make a couple of these. We're actually going to make a total of 4 of these ridges. For row 16 through 23, we're going to repeat row 14 and row 15. So for row 16, repeating what we did in row 14, we're going to single crochet in the front loop only of every stitch all the way across. And then just to make sure that you see what we're doing, that you've got it, we're going to wrap up row 16 here. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and I'm going to show you how to start row 17. I know that in the pattern it just says for row 16 through 23, repeat rows 14 and 15. I just wanted to make sure that you understood what that meant and how that looks. So for row 17, again, we're going to see those left behind back loops from row 16. And we're going to single crochet into those loops for row 17. Again, count your stitches. All right, I think you got it. Comfortable. If you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Go ahead and repeat until you reach the end of row 23. I'll meet you there so I can show you the middle section of the pillow and what that stitch is and how to do it. Fantastic. Once you reach the end of row 23, you can chain 1, turn your work. So we're looking at the front of the work. Look at all 4 of these beautiful ridges. Sometimes I'll run my fingers between each row of ridges so you can make them pop, really make them pronounced. It's such a cool look. I hope you enjoy it. All right, for this next section, we're going to be doing the linen stitch or the seed stitch. So for row 24, we're going to begin by making 1 single crochet stitch in the first stitch, and then we're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, and single crochet into the following stitch. The repeat pattern for row 24 is chain 1, skip the next stitch, and single crochet into the following stitch. That's it. I hope you like this. I hope it's easy peasy for you. Go ahead and continue this pattern across row 24. I'm going to meet you at the end of row 24 just to show you how it should look when you end the row. Wrapping up row 24, you're going to chain one, skip one, single crochet in the next, and you're going to find one stitch left. We're just going to make one more single crochet stitch in that last stitch. So essentially, we're ending the row with one single crochet stitch in the last 2 stitches. This is what I want you to see. This is what I want you to pay attention to. Moving on to row 25, chain one, turn your work. Make one single crochet stitch into the first stitch, and then jump right into the pattern. We can chain one, skip that next stitch, and single crochet around the chain one. Then repeat. Chain one, skip the next stitch, and single crochet around the chain one. Pretty easy peasy. If you're having any problems with this, please let me know. But repeat this pattern all the way across for row 25. You're going to end row 25 by making one single crochet stitch in the last 2 stitches. All right, guys, for row 26 through the end of row 53, we are repeating everything we just did for row 25. Each row, you're going to chain one, turn your work, single crochet into the first stitch, then chain one, skip one, single crochet around the chain one space. That's it. Easy peasy, ending every row with one single crochet stitch in the last 2 stitches. You are going to continue having 62 stitches in every single row. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Have fun with this, guys. Enjoy it. All right, I'm going to meet you at the end of row 53 to show you what we're going to do in the next section. Okay, so remember how I said for this demo, I'm not going to be making all of the rows that I would for an actual project, just because I want to get through each section faster so I can explain the instructions quicker. We are now going to make the next section, which is going to be 4 more of these ridges. But we're going to be approaching these ridges from a different side of the work than we did previously. So here's what you're going to do for row 54. You're going to chain one and turn your work. Then you're going to make one single crochet stitch in the back loop only of every stitch all the way across. This is how we're going to get that ridge to pop forward or to pop on the right side of the work. Now you might ask me, Tiffany, why don't you just make one more row of the linen stitch or seed stitch so that way we could just repeat what we did before? Well, I did everything by measurement. So each section had to be a specific measurement in order for it to work for the pillow form that we are using. If I added one more row, then it was going to make the pillow a little bit too long. So this is just what I did. Finishing row 54 here. Again, please count your stitches. We want 62 stitches in every row. This is what it'll look like. You see that left behind loop now on the front. Moving on to row 55, we're going to chain one, turn our work, and we want to single crochet in that left behind loop from row 54. So this time we're going to actually pull row 54 forward, bend it, fold it forward, so that way that row of left behind loops pops out and is so much easier to work into. And then we're just going to make one regular single crochet stitch into that left behind loop of row 54 all the way across. That's it. Please count your stitches, that way you can make sure you're staying on track. Finishing row 55 here with 62 stitches. There we go. Great. Now when we look at our work, we can see that ridge that's really popping forward. We can see that it matches with the other 4, same side, and it's just a really cool look. Okay, for row 56 through the end of row 61, we're repeating rows 54 and 55. Go ahead and continue on. I'll meet you at the end of row 61 to show you how to work the last section of our pillow. Great, once you have finished all 4 of your ridges, we're ready to move on to the third section of our pillow. Chain one, turn your work, single crochet into the first stitch, and then we're jumping right into the single crochet cross stitch to match the other side of the pillow. Skip the next stitch, loosely single crochet in the following stitch, and loosely single crochet into the skipped stitch, and repeat. Great, now our pillow is going to have symmetry. The first and the last sections of the pillow are going to be the single crochet cross stitch with 2 dividers, and then the very center of the pillow being that linen or seed stitch. Now, I also wanted there to be symmetry in the first and last section by having the same number of rows. Super important, right? So we will have 13 rows in the first section and 13 rows in the last section. That means that for row 62 through the end of row 75, you're just going to be repeating row 3. You might be asking, Tiffany, is the last row going to be a row of single crochet stitches? No, the last row is row 75 of the single crochet cross stitch, and then we cut our yarn, tie off our work, and we move on to joining the sections together. Grab your stitch markers. We're going to fold this cover inside out, so the wrong side or the inside would be facing outward. And then we're going to go ahead and place our stitch marker in that corner point, so that way as we're joining, we can make sure things aren't shifting. Another way that you can help yourself is to count how many stitches that you work down. So here I am, I'm counting a certain number of stitches. Then I'm going to mark it with a stitch marker. I'm going to count the same number of stitches on the other side and mark that with the same stitch marker. So that way I can monitor my joining and make sure that it's not shifting radically. This is going to be like my stop gauge section. Okay, grab your yarn needle, cut a long strand of yarn from the same yarn that you used to make the pillow cover. Thread your yarn needle. To attach the yarn to the project, we're going to go underneath both loops of a stitch. We're going to skip the middle one and then go underneath both loops on the other side, having one stitch there at the bottom. Then tie a knot to secure your yarn to the project so it doesn't go anywhere. And we're just going to be doing a whip stitch. We don't need this join to be pretty because it's going to be on the inside of the pillow cover. No one's going to see it. It's not going to be decorative. So go ahead and insert your yarn needle underneath both loops of both stitches that should align with each other and pull. Then drape the yarn back to side number 1. We want to continue to feed the yarn from one side to the other consistently, not back and forth. Because these stitches should align, you can pinch them together to make it go faster. And keep your join loose, because if you pull tight, it's going to bunch everything, and you don't want the bunching. It's going to affect the look. And repeat for your join all the way around the pillow. When you reach the stitch marker, you'll be able to see if you are staying on track or if you need to make any adjustments. But this is what you're doing. You're just going to whip stitch your 2 sides closed, but we don't want to complete the entire pillow. We want to make sure we get that pillow form inside before we close the join completely. Next, let's go ahead and insert the pillow form. Go ahead and grab your pillow form, insert your hand inside that pillow cover, grab the pillow form, and then just flip that pillow cover over the pillow. This makes it so much easier to put it on the pillow. Then stretch and form and mush and get your pillow to look exactly the way you want it to. The right side is now facing outward, which is going to look beautiful. I hope you're really happy with it. Again, I'm just taking my hand and I'm pushing the pillow form into the corners and getting that cover to really be filled out with the insert, the pillow form. Once your pillow feels just right to you, we can join that last section and finish the project. Now, because we are now joining with the right side facing out, the way I am doing it is I'm going to go from the inside of the stitch outward, and then I'm going to come to the other side of the pillow, and I'm going to go from the inside outward. This is more of the mattress stitch join. Back to side number 1 from the inside out, back to side number 2, inside out. Now, you can clearly see that we're working the foundation row of the pillow cover itself. So I'm not placing my yarn needle underneath a specific loop. I'm literally just placing it between a stitch or aligning from one side to another. You don't have to be perfect. We just need to make sure that we're going from the inside out on one side, inside out on the other, and keep your stitches close so there's no big gap or hole. I'm going to cut this tag because there's no point in keeping the tag on the pillow anymore. It is going to be permanently sealed inside this cover, and continue finishing up your join. To close off this entire pillow, I want to make sure I'm there with you from beginning to end. At the very end of your join, go ahead and insert your yarn needle from one side to the other, leaving a loop behind. Take that loop with your fingers and twist it. Insert your yarn needle from the bottom to the top of that loop and slowly pull and guide that loop to land exactly where you want it to land. That way you can control where the knot stops. Now to finish things up, go ahead and weave in that tail. I will take my yarn needle and I'll go under and over loops, sometimes through a loop, through the plies of a loop. And a trick that I really like when weaving in my ends is to then reverse the weave and go backwards. That seems to lock everything in. Great, then take your scissors, cut your tail, and your project's complete. It's done. Yay! And there it is, the Easy Elegant Crochet Pillow, quick, beginner friendly, and absolutely beautiful. If you make this project, please tag me so that way I can see your creation. I love to share them in the community. You can tag me at Crochet with Tiffany so that way I can see as soon as you post it. Please do all the things, like, subscribe, comment below. I'm so grateful for you being here today, watching my video, crocheting with me. I hope you have the best day and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.